I used to like this channel before all of the negative content about politics. Oh, really? I was going to be your biggest downer until you said something about my political candidates. Oh, yeah. Miss the old Will. Me too. This interview is rough. Just to watch, it's rough. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And you're a very, very mean way to ask me a question. Very mean comment you gave me. Very mean statement you made. I was just repeating what you said. Very mean. Some say that's the meanest statement that's ever been asked on a stage. What? She was Indian and then she turned black, and I think somebody should investigate that. That's all I'm saying. What?
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let go.
It's like when you go out and order Japanese, then they bring you General Tso's chicken, and you're like, this isn't Japanese. Many people say it is. We know it isn't. What is happening?
Kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt we've been thinking.
You know what I just found out?
Let the truth fade away.
I found out that Mariah is actually a big JD Vance fan. She's in love with that couch fucker, JD Vance. She's been watching his movie on Netflix, not telling me about it. Went to watch his movie on Netflix to make fun of it. Then I figured out it's basically like my life story. But I went to make fun of it. But Mariah had already watched it. It was at the credits, and I went to click on it on her account. Now, makes me want to crush something with my bare hands. Yeah, like a cantaloupe or something. human head.
Kill it anyway.
Not a human head. I shouldn't have said that. A cantaloupe disguised as a human head. There we go.
Wake through back in the back. Kill it anyway.
This, oh man. She couldn't say anything. I asked Melania, what did you think when they shot my ear off? She was speechless. She couldn't say anything. That means she either likes me or she loves me. She either likes me or she loves me. I don't know. One of the two.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. How's it going? Actually, the average human head weighs up to somewhere around 10, almost 11 pounds. 98% of people fit in a category between, I think it's like 6 to 11 pounds for a human head, which is pretty crazy. And then the circumference of an average human head is like 22 inches. I know a lot about a human head. Just saying. They taught us a lot about body sizes at distance. Weird topic to start off with. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Trump's not doing so good on the stages. That's his thing, right? It's usually about 6 to 7 inches in width and about 8 to 9 inches in height, somewhere around there. He's not doing so good. Trump went to so there's this thing called I don't know if they ever call themselves the NABJ, but it's the NABJ. Okay, the NABJ, NABJ. It's the National Association of Black Journalists. The National Association of Black Journalists. Now, they had a conference. And they're like, hey, traditionally, we always invite presidential candidates and presidents or whatever. And we haven't been inviting Trump, but maybe we'll reach across the aisle. And we'll send an olive branch and say, hey, we will invite Donald Trump. No, I don't think it was to play to his base white supremacist. Nobody can win the White House without the middle vote, the moderate vote, the centrist, the people in the middle. So even if he wanted to make fucking Johnny in his fucking Grand Dragon outfit beat his dick over Donald Trump talking about black people, it doesn't get him to the White House. So there you go. Anyways, the National Association of Black Journalists decided to invite Donald Trump, and it was bad. And if there's one thing we love here, it's cringe. It was bad. So bad. They pulled him off the stage early. We're going to watch that video. We're going to talk about it. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. If you want to be part of this, hang out and watch. If you don't, we'll see you. But if you want to support the show, you want to make a contribution, you want to help the show keep going, you can do that at coldbeer.fund, buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. You guys know all the ways. Kind of preaching to the choir here a little bit, but got to say it. Got to get the shekels. Anyways, let's grab the link and check it out and see what we got. We might watch Dennis Prager versus Destiny debate too. It was pretty good, I think. I've been hearing good things.
This discussion
Very good
continues a decades-long tradition during.
All right, so again, all the people that are here have something to do with either being black and in journalism, right? It's black journalists. So they're all going to be like media pundits or do something in journalism, production, something, and it's about black journalists. Now, they weren't going to invite Trump. It was actually kind of controversial to invite Trump. And a lot of people on Twitter are like, you invited this motherfucker and he talked shit about us right to our face. So a lot of people aren't happy with the leadership, but I think there couldn't have been anything more disastrous for his current run to the White House than this. It's pretty bad.
This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president. And
See, they're already, as soon as they start, they're making excuses, right? They're making excuses already. They're saying, well, we're trying to continue this tradition, and we always had this, just so we're trying to continue it. Oh, my God. Y'all need to wake up. Trump is the real learner. Biden is a fake being played out by actors. Go Trump 2024, mega. That's your local Facebook audience. Facebook audience over there. Man, Facebook is wild, dude.
Impact of those policies, especially in black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually.
Trump's like, whoa, you mean to tell me this isn't the National Association of Blowjob Lovers? I was under the impression we were getting blown.
In September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social.
This is the bane of Trump's existence, right? Which so it boils down to the people in the middle, the people that are undecided voters. That's how you get to the White House, is undecided voters. They're always this way. They're always the difference. His people that follow him and believe him are going to follow him and believe him. His people that hate him are going to fucking hate him. But the fact-checking is the bane of his existence for people who are like, is that true? Is what he said true?
Social media. Using the hashtag NABJ Fact Check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ Fact Check. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald.
You're not even speaking English, and you will gives out BS and lies. Okay.
Trump.
Entrance music. I like it. Already it's great. Look at that. Look at that. What is the hump on his back, bro? Now,
Mr. President,
one thing to remember is he says he's having a very hard time hearing the lady all the way on the end in the pink. And later on, she even says there is something going on with the audio. It sounds like it's cutting out, but here, I'll tell you again. This is just bad all the way around. 30 minutes of bad.
So appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were...
Right, you have a National Association of black journalists, and the couple black people, you're like, they're from they're from Africa. That's what you guys don't know.
American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal in the United States.
Telling other American citizens to go back where they came from.
4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why?
I think Trump knew that he was kind of going into the lion's den. This wasn't going to be like a bunch of softball questions where they're like, that's a great answer, Mr. President. But I think, I don't know who the fuck is in charge of what he says and what he does, but there needs to be somebody saying, look, kill them with kindness here. That's what you need to do. You don't need to give them, like, they're not going to give you favorable softball questions. They're not going to suck your dick for answering them, but you don't need to give them any clippable moments. And he was like, fuck you, I do what I want.
Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question.
Right off the bat. Right off. You said these people weren't born in the United States. They're from Kenya. You've attacked black journalists, which is what we all are. You've said to 4 U.S. citizens that are actually that are members of Congress, they should go back where they came from, even though they were born in the United States. Why would black people vote for you? Well, I don't think I've ever been asked such a horrible question. What is your golf score? I've seen your swing.
You have used language like that.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a...
Wait a second. Did she say welcome? And then she said, let's address the elephant in the room. Hold on.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time.
Yeah, Mr. President, we appreciate you giving. That's the introduction there.
I want to start calling them a loser, saying the question black supporters to vote for you. Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
Now, again, this rhetoric right here, his fucking diehard voters, they're going to vote for him. They love this. But you can't get in the White House with just people that love you.
With ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country.
And they're all journalists, claiming that news is fake to a room full of journalists. What the fuck are you doing?
I've done so much for the black...
Now, Trump has even went as far as saying that there should be penalties for people writing negative stories about him. Now, there are laws around, like they can't just slander, they can't just defame, but we give a broad blanket kind of protection to get stories out, as long as you do your due diligence, right, to get stories out, because it's so important to the American people. And we're on this quick 24-hour news cycle. Everything gets reported immediately, blah, blah, blah. Like, they have to have like a shield there, and a shield to protect, like, people who tell them stuff and shit like that. But imagine penalties for journalists writing stories that you don't like or that you claim aren't true. Even if they have evidence, you claim it isn't true.
Population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and, you know, and I say this, historically...
The black. I've always been a fan of the blacks. Oh, dude. Oh. Whew.
Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing.
There are, like, you'll hear like 2 people, I think, that are just diehard Trump supporters that clap at everything that he says.
And nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something was wrong.
I would love
I think
you
it's
to
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why-
Wow, dude. This is the first fucking question, bro. The first and they were doing something back. I don't know if they couldn't get their equipment working. They kept me waiting. It's been 30. This is the first question. So both of them were supposed to be there. Both of them were supposed to speak. They invited both of them, but it wasn't supposed to be like they were going to be on the stage at the same time.
Half an hour late, just so we understand.
Candace Owens went full fucking anti-Semitic. I don't know what she thinks about it.
I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
think
you
it's
to
a
answer the
very
question on
nasty
your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe
answered the
black
question.
women trust you with another
I have
4
been
years.
the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights Act?
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who was the first.
I do like how Trump likes to get sidebar and change the entire conversation and go over here. Like you'll ask him about this law, and the next thing you know, he'll be talking about how much he loves hot dogs and on the boardwalk, and now you can't go down there because people will stab you. Like I do like how she tries to keep him on topic and cut his bullshit. Cut the bullshit out.
Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell?
That's mean as shit, dude. So basically you're saying that she was just there to bump the numbers so there was a black person there. So there was a woman there. There was, like, if someone went to come to your job and you're like, and they told you were DEI, that just means you checked a box. You're not qualified for the job. You can't handle the job. You're only there to bump their woman number or their black number or whatever it might be.
Tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Ooh, they laughed at him. How do you find DEI? Well, it stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Is that your definition? That is literally the words, sir.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I just
would.
defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe.
Now listen to this. She was Indian. Now she's black. I think somebody should be investigating that. Were they gonna arrest her?
Be a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she...
She happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black, and now she's black. I think somebody should be investigating that.
only promoting Indian heritage? I didn't know she was black.
Dude, if this was an SNL skit, it would be fucking hilarious. It would be fucking hilarious. Do you think she's a DEI? Do you think she's only in the White House, that the only reason she was on the ticket and the only reason she's going to be your presumptive, candidate is because she's black? Well, I've known her indirectly for multiple years. She was always Indian, and then she just turned black. And now she wants to be black.
Until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified as a black
what?
woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't.
She went to a historically black college.
Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you believe
I
that
think
she is...
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I really
Republicans
don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady.
So the claim was, do you believe that? And if not, would you tell people to stop saying that? I mean, they're taking away from all of her qualifications, right? And she is technically qualified if we're looking at like checking boxes for like being in government, college educated, all those things, right?
Right over there, Harris is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And
it does sound like, even in the audience, like this recording seems to be pretty bad audio. They're obviously having some type of audio issue. And he says multiple times he can't hear her very well. I think he uses that as a crutch as well. Like, I do think there's an audio issue, but I also think when he doesn't want to answer something or feels like he answered something wrong, he's like, oh, I'm having trouble hearing you. He can use it to his benefit. but the recording's not even the best. Even Right Side Broadcasting Network was like, well, that was something when they were covering this. They cover everything Trump does.
As you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming...
Does he not know where he's at? He's at the... Again, I just want to remind everybody, he's at the National Association of Black Journalists at their yearly conference. And he's like, frankly, it's a big issue, and I think a lot of the journalists in this room probably are. A lot of them are black. Yeah. It's like going to a furry convention and being like, I think a lot of people in here are probably into, some weird sex stuff. Yeah!
Problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black.
And now you're thinking, like, he's at the National Association for Black Journalists, and now he's like, a lot of journalists here are black. How could he top that? How could he top that in this second question? We're on question number 2. No, this might be 3. This might be 3. This is the third question. How can he top that? Black jobs. They're taking black jobs. What are black jobs, sir? What do you mean black jobs? What is a black job, bro?
I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What is
Now, of course, he's talking about jobs that are held by black people as well as white people. What the fuck? Who says this? Who says this? This is like, what's his name with the white Bible? The Bible's for white people, I tell you that much. Black jobs.
exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking...
President.
That almost has, like, even him trying to fix it, saying, oh, yeah, I meant any job. They're taking all the jobs. You know, a black person can do any. That almost sounds like it even has racist undertones, because the joke is that black people don't work. Like the paycheck joke about the work boots and shit. Like, that's underlying racism right there. And he's like, it's anybody who works.
You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
That's why why the crowd reacted, right?
Anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17.
Millions and millions and millions. I love hearing him say millions and millions and millions.
Million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
Sure.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble.
People in dire straits, right?
Much of that falls on the
Crime rates are dropping here in the U.S.
the shoulders of single moms, single black moms.
I don't know if it's like a thing because crime rates kind of spiked during COVID, or if it's crime rates were kind of trending down before and then COVID happened. But there you go.
You look statistically.
Yeah.
How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very
This woman. So again, he goes back to like, I can't hear you because of bad equipment. This woman, I guess, wasn't able to get the right equipment. Like she's in charge of like he's going to blame everything on her because she asked him that question. He's like, this is a very bad question. I've never been accosted in this way.
Money.
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses.
That's how you fight inflation. So the reason interest rates change is because that's how you fight it. You raise interest rates. You make it harder to get money, which is what fights inflation traditionally.
They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more.
So what do you do?
Than any.
What's your plan?
You know.
So the inflation rate currently is right around 3%. The last time it was 3% was in March of 2021.
All we have to do, we have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with
drill, baby, drill. I don't know if you guys know this, but we're drilling more than ever. This is not going to fix the cost of inflation, right? So, yeah, we're producing more crude oil than ever. Ever. It's March 11th, 2024 of this year. United States produces more crude oil than any country ever. United States produces more crude oil than any country ever. Now, that doesn't count like countries that are bounded together like OPEC, right? But it does include those countries like Saudi Arabia, right? Saudi Arabia, Russia, and the United States are the big three. This year, last year, 2023, this year so far, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, we've been producing more oil than any other country. And in 2023, we produce more oil than any other country, crude oil.
the bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say
this is about inflation, but here we go.
it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history, and his poll numbers crashed.
It wasn't the worst interview in history, sir. You're working on that one.
And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going. And
right. So what they did was companies rode the inflation up to record high profits. And now that inflation's gone, it just isn't coming back down. Is there something we can do with that? Well, maybe, but that, you know, you're fucking with the private sector. A lot of people like to be hands off with the private sector, right? That's how our economy works, a free market. But like even quotes from like CEOs, like Coke, when Coke was talking about like, okay, now the inflation spike's over, we're probably going to go back and reduce we're not going to have great price. He said, we have a premium product and people will pay premium prices for it. Pepsi said almost the exact same thing. So yeah, Coke went up by, or Coke and Pepsi, a 20-ounce bottle went up by a fucking $1. It could easily come back down, but the companies are not letting go of that. Especially inflation is dropping on their end, so their profit just keeps going up and up and up. You have to vote with your fucking wallet what you want to buy, what you don't buy, what you let go because you can't afford, or what you pick a different brand because they're having a better deal. If you believe in free market, the free market should correct itself. Technically, I know a lot of places like Coke and Pepsi have a monopoly, but what should happen is somebody ought to come in and undercut the other one. Their sales get higher, and then there's a fight to get to the actual spot where people are willing to pay for it without bitching, not going to do without it, and they're making profit.
Maybe something happens the other way. They said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say. Let's bring in another fighter. So
No. That's like there's going to be a fight, and let's say it's Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, right? And Mike Tyson decides that he's not fit to fight. They would say, okay, well, we're still going to have this fight in 6 months, but instead the prize fight is going to be if Jake Paul agrees and who the fuck ever, right? That's what it is. There wasn't even an official nominee yet.
The whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But
Trump makes it sound like we're voting today. Today's election day. And halfway through the election, they're like, whoa, 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 it's not Biden. It's fucking this other person.
ultimately it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient.
As some people say, gasoline. I've never seen it personally, but I've heard about it.
Heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And
So Trump is good at this. They were going to cut him off on the Biden this, Biden that, switching to candidate. Mr. President, and then he's like, but inflation, as I was saying, inflation is hurting the black and everybody else.
fact check it. They'll say it's only 58, whatever it may be. They don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely.
And he doesn't. So what are you going to do to reduce inflation? Bring down energy costs. But what? I hate when they ask Trump a direct question, or any politician. It's not just Trump. Trump's bad about it. Where they're like, what are you going to do to help the average working American afford groceries? Drill, baby, drill. That's not a policy. We're already producing more crude oil than any other country in the world, and grocery prices are still high. Drill.
Absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonya Massey, someone from Illinois.
So this is the woman. Trump has said before that cops are being put on trial unfairly for violating people's rights or shooting people they shouldn't shoot. You know, everything that was happening during the fucking summer of love and all the shit that went on with that, right? Trump has said before that he would like to give immunity to these cops. Now, they already get something called qualified immunity, and you guys know what that is. We've been over qualified immunity before. But in a lot of these cases where it seems to break down like the right's like, oh, he shouldn't be in trouble, and the left's like, well, he just killed somebody. Unjustly. So she's going to ask him about, I forget her name, Sonya, whatever. I can't remember her last name. The woman with the boiling water pot, right? She was not, we can watch the video real quick. I think we need context for this. What's her last name, chat? Sonya Massey, is that it? Yeah, Sonya Massey. This is bad. So what they're saying is like this cop is going to be charged or whatever. Do you believe that he should have immunity? This is really bad. Like she's got a pot of boiling water. Not that she boiled water for the cops. It was just on the fucking. It was on the stove. She's obviously not in her right mind. Here it is.
6:12 this morning, we are still learning more about.
Hold on, let's do this. Let's do the raw footage. I don't want anybody to give us opinions on it. We can make our own opinions, but. News about copy shot Sonya had 6 different jobs in 4 years. Wow. Released body cam video. That was from 8 days ago. Would one of the cops channels have it? Sheriff asked for forgiveness. WFAA. New details. NBC 15. What are the I can't think of any of the cop channels right now. I'm sure one of them have it. Police something. Let's see. I know I've got it over here. Is it Massey? Audio reveals chief deputy scolding. Audio. Okay. There's a Fox 35 link. Maybe this. Police activity. There we go. I couldn't think of any of the police channels right now. All right, so what happens? I think she calls. I've watched this, but it's been a few days back. But I think she calls because she thinks that someone is around her house or property. The cops knock on the door originally. She doesn't answer, but they check around her property. Everything seems clear, and then they go to tell her. Here we go. Well, he says in the beginning, if you do that, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face. And then he ends up shooting her head. That sounds like premeditation to me. Now, again, they're on a service call because she thought somebody was outside, okay? They're not there serving a warrant. They're not there for a drug bust. They're not there because she was shooting at her neighbor. She called because she thought somebody was outside her house. Oh, I'm sure Eli did. How many words did he use to describe shooting? Or bullets? The projectile. They prop open her screen door. It seems to me that, I don't know if this cop does steroids or whatever. He's a bigger cop. It seems to me that he's short from the get-go with her. That he's very short. He sounds very upset with her and like he doesn't have time of day for her and that it's a hassle. They check the driveway. But there ought to be, so he's gonna knock again. There ought to be some pretty clear indicators that he should notice, like, she's kind of not in the right frame of mind right here. Maybe she needs help. Maybe she needs a family member. Maybe she just needs us to leave. You know, she's safe. She's fine. Why don't we just back out of here and leave?
There's a bike sitting back there. Where? On the back door. I don't know if it's hers. What happened? Search warrant.
They joke about, so he knocks it, he says, don't love tap it, hits the door harder. Then they joke about screaming search warrant.
319 to contact her. Some through approach her. You'll try and call her 17 back there and let her know we're out front.
getting dispatched to call her because she call her back, right, and say the cops are out at your door. She might not want to answer. She might think it's the person that she thought was outside to begin with.
Yes, that set up good. I got a phone right here. You didn't see anybody out walking that way, did you? No, not when I came in. I didn't see anybody that way.
Also, you wouldn't have this if you're just watching the body cam footage, but one of the 911 calls was her daughter saying, "My mom just called me. She's upset. I know cops are responding there. Please don't hurt her. I don't want you guys to hurt her. It sounds like she might be having like a mental breakdown. She seems paranoid, whatever. I don't want you to hurt her." That was one of the 911 calls they received as well before the cops made contact with her.
I hear her phone ringing and she's accusing from the doors.
Or maybe it was her mom. Hold on. I might have that backwards. It was her mom that called. Did I say her daughter? It was her mom.
She's dead in there. Awesome. Is this a ring doorbell? Yeah, it doesn't work though. Sheriff's office!
So he sound like we have a voice and then sheriff's office.
2 houses down, I think. Oh, no, it's there.
Yeah, I think she's having a mental health issue when they ask her about her car, and she's like, "No, it is. I don't know."
She was yelling inside. Just goes, hold on. You come in the door or not? All right.
Look already. Like, their job is to be there for us, right? When we need them. You coming to the door or not?
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Sheriff's office, the one you called.
They're clearly aggravated to begin with. All right, door opens. We got light. Door opens. Sheriff's office, the one you called.
Oh, we heard you. You called us.
So she starts saying automatically, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. She's asking multiple times, please don't hurt me.
So what'd you hear?
Somebody keeps outside my house, y'all.
Is this your car over here?
Please, God, please, God, please.
Is this your...
And she's going to make several references to God, a couple prayers. I think she's having some type of mental health issue already, but these big ass guys are not in fucking danger.
Car over here? Oh.
Please, God.
That's not your black car in the driveway? Oh, well, we checked your yard. We walked around the whole block. We didn't see anybody. We checked the whole area. There's nobody out walking around.
I know, y'all. Please, God, please, God. I'm trying to get help, y'all. But
please, God, I'm trying to get help, y'all. Please, God, don't hurt me. Shit,
what do you need help with?
Nothing. I just, please, God, please, God, please. I don't know what to do.
Do with what?
Huh?
What do you need help with?
Nothing.
They ought to already know. Like, even if it's drug induced, it's still a mental health issue, right? She's not doing well. Maybe we break contact. Maybe we call a family member. Maybe we call the fucking EMT. But what we don't do is shoot her to death.
I wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard. We didn't see nobody. Yeah, so nobody's out here.
You didn't see anybody?
Nope. Oh. Checked the whole area.
Okay.
What took you so long to answer the door?
She seems confused to me.
Oh, I was trying to put on some clothes, sir. I'm sorry. I was trying to get...
I got you. All right. Is there anything else we can do for you?
Huh?
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. You doing all right?
Done, right? If they want to call back and say, hey, maybe Maybe call the family member back and, you know, have a welfare check or something like that. Then maybe they need to do a welfare check. Maybe call an EMT, but it should have been done, right? And she'd still be alive.
Right, mentally?
Yes.
Sure?
My medicine and stuff.
All right. Okay.
I love y'all. Thank y'all.
All right. That's not your black car, though. The SUV? Whose is it? You don't know? If someone just parked it in your driveway?
They brought it to my driveway.
And just left it? Yeah, let's run that. Yeah. 19, I got a 20 clear. Does anyone else live here with you?
Oh, I thought she was an older lady too. She's 36 years old. Jesus, I wouldn't have guessed that either. I just guessed she was an older lady, but I just watched the footage like everybody else did.
Somebody else.
David Mary 43556.
So she says the car isn't hers, so they run the tag on it.
You got a name? You got an idea or something? Take your name real quick. Catch this. See who we spoke to.
You got a name, you got an ID or something. So it's moving in. They were ready to leave a second ago, right? Anything else we can do for you? All right then. Well, how you doing? It's not your car. You got a name. They got to have a name for their report. Those are. This happened 2 days after the 4th of July, so I'm guessing those are fireworks. Trump doesn't say anything crazy about this case, but there are a lot of cases where he has basically vouched for immunity for cops doing their jobs. But the problem is cops have immunity when they're doing their jobs inside their legal bounds, right? No one's out here persecuting cops for doing a great job or doing their legal jobs. In fact, they get more immunity than you do with qualified immunity, right? They get even more immunity than you do with qualified immunity. No one's out here doing this shit. Basically, qualified immunity protects state and local cops, I think. It's from state and local officials, including law, but also other officials, from individual liability. So from them actually being individual liable, unless it's a clearly established right. So basically, if it hasn't been to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court has ruled on it and said, we do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. If the Supreme Court basically hasn't ruled on it, then they've got immunity from individual liability, even if the town or the police department or something may be liable. So if a case hasn't been in the Supreme Court, usually, that's usually where they go to clear, because it's got to be clearly established constitutional right. So if it's been in the Supreme Court, you can still get fucked for it. But if it hasn't, then you're gonna have to run it up the chain and still may fall under qualified immunity if they're the first person. So a lot of times that's how these cases get built. It'll be qualified immunity all the way to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will rule on it in some way, shape, or form. Then that guy still gets a pass, but the next guy that does it gets in trouble. All right, so he goes in after asking her for an ID. She's kind of wandering around, doing her thing. He's peeking in our bedrooms and shit for some reason.
I know you're already here. Hello? Yeah, I got the sheriff department here, but I was calling for help from y'all.
Okay, are you there with me?
They're here in my house right now.
Okay, I'll let you go and you can talk to them.
So that's the dispatcher again, just checking.
Hold on, wait a second, sir.
You can hang up, Conwell.
For what? You're there with the
So she says, hang on, wait a second, sir. You can hang up, you're good. The cop just overrides her.
correct?
No, hold on, okay?
You can hang
Hold
up.
on for what?
Just 1 second, okay? Okay.
So then she says, I got some paperwork for y'all. While she's supposed to be looking for her ID.
What's up?
I got some paperwork. Can you grab that Bible, please?
Yeah. Hey, I just need your name.
She wants the Bible. She's been referencing God multiple times.
You can get out of here. Was there any damage previous to your car?
So you see back here in the back, you see this pot, right? And there's a flame underneath it. Boiling water. Now, it took her a long time to come to the door or whatever. Maybe the cops are just saying, hey, you might want to turn that off. Did you leave it on accidentally? But this is going to be the topic of the next section, is this pot of boiling water.
Previous, yeah, it was.
Okay, what was the damage?
A dent, I believe.
But what about windows?
Oh, it was something that happened earlier.
Okay, perfect.
So now she's saying that is her car, and it has a dent and a broken window.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to
Massey. Massey.
Yeah. You have an ID? That makes things so much easier.
So she says Massey, but he's like, what? Massey. What? You have an ID?
I just need just driver's license will do, and then I'll get out of your hair.
He doesn't need any of this, by the way. Right? He could just put made contact with subject at blah, 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 blah. It just makes his, they get a chance to run warrants. They get a chance to write your name down. They get a chance to add you to their book of contacts. But he doesn't need any of this. If she went to open the door, you think he's going to fucking kick down the door and find her ID inside? Like, made contact with a subject that called 911 at 123 Main Street. Let her know that I walked through the yards. There was nothing back there. All that stuff.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork. What paperwork?
Okay. I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID.
Well, let's get your ID first, and then
one task at a time here.
Okay.
Here, grab your ID for me.
Okay.
Your ID. One task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
You stand that stack right there, maybe.
Okay. 1 second.
Check on her.
Let me do this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
All right. So here's where it all happens. So while they got her looking for her ID and telling her one task at a time, whatever, he points over to the stove and says, check on her. We don't need a fire while we're here. And then, of course, it's her stove. So this other officer starts to walk over there, but then stops, and then she walks over there to the pot of boiling water.
That stack right there, maybe.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me do this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
I think she's like hallucinating and probably seeing shit and stuff. Probably, if I had to guess. Oh, do we freeze for a second? That's better now. I think she's probably hallucinating or having a mental breakdown or something. So she turns off the stove eye. She picks it up with pot holders. It's a pot of boiling water.
Where you going?
So immediately the cop walks away. He doesn't want to be near her with a pot of boiling water, but she takes it to the sink. She doesn't come at him. She doesn't, none of that, right? Like, you can see her. She goes directly to the sink and sets it down. You can even hear it tunk. And says, where are you going? But he kind of took off pretty quick. So she's like, where are you going? And then this other cop laughs. Now, why would this other cop laugh? Because it's kind of funny. The guy's just running from a lady that's just moving a pot, right? So he doesn't think he doesn't think it's a threat at this point, right? He laughed because his partner took off just because the woman touched a pot of water. He laughs at him.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
It sounds like he says, don't worry.
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Did you hear that? So where are you going? Away from your hot steaming water. And she says, away from my hot steaming water. He laughs and turns around, turning her back. They don't think she's a threat. This cop is clearly turning her back. If she was such a threat, would this cop laugh and turn his back to her a second time? All she says is, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, which she's been talking about God and all that stuff, right? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That's what she said.
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of
And the cop says, huh? And why he says hun, she's repeating it, he's already drawn. You see his hand? It's a level 2 retention holster where he has to use his finger to let go of the retention clip. He's already drawn. Huh? And she says it again. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Is that weird? Maybe creepy? Sure. Is that a call to action that she's going to try to kill you? Probably not. Not to mention there's a bar between you. Y'all are 15 fucking feet away. The door's there. Your other cop is completely fine showing his back to her. Turn around backwards. He doesn't have a gun drawn.
Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Does anything seem called for? Have you seen any action that calls for, you better not, I'll shoot you right in the middle of your fucking face? This is so fucking insane. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Huh? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You better not. I'll fucking shoot you right in the middle of your fucking face. Then this next part is the hard part. When he draws, she starts to cower. And he still fucking shoots her. There's a bunch of conspiracy fucking channels that are claiming that he was demon possessed. Because that's how wild this video is. Because she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. If he's got a demon in him, he's like, you better not, I'll shoot you right in the fucking face. That's how wild this fucking video is. There's no way that she could throw that pot of water and hurt them. Not to mention, they don't even need to be there. If they don't like her picking up a pot of water, go out the fucking door. It's right behind you. Now, they have no duty to retreat, like in some states where if you like carry a firearm, you've got a duty to try to retreat. The cops don't have that, obviously. But other than bruised egos, what would happen if they just took a step back, 10 steps back, 100 steps back? If they just both went to the door and said, hey, look, we don't want to talk with you while you got a pot of water. Can you just set it down and come back over here? Anything. You better not. I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking top!
Watch her cower. She says, okay, I'm sorry. Look how she goes down. And says, okay, I'm sorry. Immediately. That's fucking heartbreaking. That she was apologizing and cowering in front of this cop that's going to shoot her right in the fucking shoot you right in your fucking face. Swear to God. She's cowering. And he still fires on her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
She goes down to the ground. You can't even see her. She goes down to the ground. The fuck's she gonna do with a pot of water from the ground?
Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot!
There's even steam here. Like, even if she would have tried to cover them. First of all, he drew way too early. See the steam in the water here? And that's after they got closer to her. Do you think she could have even harmed him if she wanted to?
Shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot!
Now, what happens next is worse than what you've already seen. So the deputy that we're on his chest, he wants to render aid. And the cop who shots her said, no, it's a headshot. She's gone.
Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female. 1078. Fucking drop the fucking pot.
It could be just her spilling it, right? If she was standing up with it and just spilling it.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Drop the fucking pot.
But even if she would have, I mean, she couldn't have injured him if she wanted to.
Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female.
Now remember, he said, this is why they think they may be able to get him on premeditated murder. Murder 1. He said, I'll shoot you right in your fucking face. Then he immediately talks about how it's a headshot, how he's don't render aid, he's shot in the head. No, it was a headshot, dude.
1078. Fuck.
Now he's gonna start saying, she come at me, she come right at me with that water.
I was on. I'm gonna go get my kit.
She's done.
I'm gonna go get my kit, right? His medical supplies to render aid. Nah, don't worry about it, dude. She's fucking done.
Fuck.
It's a headshot.
I was on. I'm gonna go get my kit.
She's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot.
How many times is he gonna say headshot after he told her he'd shoot her in her fucking face?
God damn it.
God, fuck.
Yeah, I'm not taking fucking boiling water in the fucking head. Hey, look, it fucking came right to our feet, too.
I'm not taking a pot of boiling water to the head. And look, it came right to our feet, too.
God damn it.
A lot of times police officers work with the same partner quite a bit.
Fuck. God damn it.
You good?
I'm good. You good?
They definitely don't change every shift. I don't know any places that change every shift.
Let her fucking just... God. Is that what you do, man?
Fuck.
Let her fucking what, bro? Let her just fucking... Oh, I mean, there's nothing we can do. Let her fucking die? Is that what you're going to say before you stop yourself? Let her fucking what, bro?
Fuck. God damn it.
You good?
I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Let her fucking just... God. Is that what you do, man?
Fuck.
You good? All right.
Yeah, you're both good, bro. There was no time when you guys weren't good.
Fuck. Well, I mean, you know, what else do we do? I'm not
There
taking
you go. Justify it. What else do we do?
hot boiling water in the fucking face, and it already reached us.
Did you see how it reached them? It ran across the floor to their feet.
They got a 52 en route?
Yeah, 1078. You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
So this is our cop's body cam. This is shooter's body cam.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot!
I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot!
All right, she doesn't have the pot right here. There's the 2 pot holders. She drops it. She doesn't have the pot right there. The pot's on the edge of the sink. And they're screaming, drop the fucking pot, drop the fucking pot. She doesn't have it. It's right there. Can you guys see the pot, or should I zoom in? The pot is right here. This gray pot. I'm outlining it with the mouse right now. She doesn't have the pot. If we rewind this back. Oh, let me click on this page. Hold on. That's pot holders, right? That's the pot holder on the pot. The other pot holder on the pot. She says, okay, I'm sorry. So she puts it in the sink, and then she picks it back up and puts it on the edge, right? And now, right here, she doesn't have the pot. She's got one pot holder, and then she goes down covering her ears. We'll keep watching, but that's what's happening so far. She doesn't have the pot right here. Still at gunpoint.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop
She's cowering on the ground. Looks like she might come up with it when she goes to stand up. So he comes around the corner, approaches her for if he was so scared, if he was so fucking scared of that bull in water, why did he run up on her? They could have said, "Hey, come over here. Leave the pot. You're going to come over here. Come to the living room. No pot. No pot. Right? Stand up. You're coming to us." But no, he comes around the corner on her. She's clearly having a mental health issue. She comes up. Does she hit the pot? Does she throw the pot? He's shooting. Who the fuck knows? He's already fucking shooting her. Who knows? Maybe she was just standing up and Jesus, who knows? He's already fucking shooting her. It does look like she doused the pot, right? Whether that was voluntary or like she was just picking it up because it's going to fall over and then he starts shooting her, who the fuck knows? But it clearly that the pot comes towards him. That's the bottom of the pot there. Look where it lands. On the other side of this computer chair and shit. It lands way over here beside her, right? And then rolls out on the floor here. Steam and water and shit. But we'll go back and watch it full speed.
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot!
The pot's empty, bro. It says, years before Sheriff Deputy Sean Grayson gunned down Sonya Massey in her own home, he had been discharged from the Army for serious misconduct and had a history of driving under the influence, records show. He also failed to obey a command while working for another sheriff's office in Illinois and was told he needed high-stress decision-making classes, the agency's documents reveal. Grayson, who was a Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy before he was fired and charged with murder, responded to a report of a prowler at Massey's home on July 6th. Body cam footage from another deputy showed Massey saying she rebuked Grayson, and Grayson responded by threatening the 36-year-old. The exchange ended with Grayson shooting Massey and failing to render any aid. I think the failing to render aid is pretty damning, too. Plus saying, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face, and then actually doing it.
Female snare, we got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female, 1078. Fuck.
I was on.
The bullet entered. Okay. When they've done autopsies, done all this, right? The bullet entered below her eye. Okay, below her eye. And exited out under her, on her neck, under her ear. So it's a downward trajectory that he shot her in.
I'm gonna go get my kit.
No, headshot, dude.
No, it's a head. I'm gonna go get my kit. No, it's a headshot, dude. She's done. She's done. I think DUIs, documented incidents with other places. Somebody said 5 places in whatever 3 years. Why was he a cop in the first place? I think is probably going to be an issue with the sheriff's department. He was also had a discharge due to misconduct, and is in parentheses it says serious offense. That's all in his discharge paperwork. Yeah. A general discharge after he served as a private first class at Fort, so he didn't make it long to be PFC. Fort Riley, Kansas. The file did not detail the alleged misconduct. Was a 91B, a wheeled vehicle mechanic in the regular Army from May 2014 to February 2016. He had no deployments and left the Army at the rank of private first class. He was on the Kincaid police force for only 3 months before he was let go because he refused to live within a 10-mile radius. Pled guilty to 2 DUIs for working at law enforcement agencies before he was a cop. Grayson worked at 6 Illinois law enforcement agencies since 2020. 6 and 4 years, records show. He started working part-time with Pawnee Police in August 2020, followed by the Kincaid and Verdun Police Department. Then he started working full-time at Auburn Police, the Logan County Sheriff's Office, and finally the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office in May 2023. A review of his employment records from the Auburn Police Department indicates why Grayson said he left previous positions. In some cases, he wanted to work full-time, but could only get part-time hours. In other cases, he said he didn't want to move. While Grayson did not appear to have any disciplinary issues while he was in the Auburn police officer, records from the Logan County Sheriff's Office said he needed to take high-stress decision-making classes. The recommendation came after Grayson failed to slow down after his boss called off a vehicle pursuit. So he's like this overzealous, like gung-ho type is what it sounds like, right? So cops said, hey, I don't believe in police pursuits, right? Fucking get the tag number, get the whatever. I don't believe in police pursuits. You're making a whole lot more danger for other people, including the person that's driving, your officers, and anybody else on the road, right? Get the tag number, be on the lookout. They're going to slow down eventually, then get them, right? I don't do high-speed pursuits. But he was ordered to back off and wouldn't. He was driving over 110 miles an hour before striking a deer, the records say. So they told him to back off. He didn't. And then at 110 miles an hour, hit a deer. Failed to show due caution while driving through intersections. The cops, that's what that was on the cops report. Grayson's supervisor terminated the report, and Grayson turned off his emergency lights, the report states, but Grayson continued at a high rate of speed, 110 miles an hour, prior to striking a deer. He acknowledged his lack of experience. It also listed a series of recommendations, including additional traffic stop training, report writing training, high-stress decision-making classes, and needs to read, understand, and discuss issued Logan County Sheriff's Office policy. They have no idea if he did those. Yeah, this is wild. But him refusing to render aid, this was given to a grand jury.
Bring EMS now. We got a headshot.
It depends on what state you're in. So in the state of Tennessee, I just know because I had a buddy who held a police commission. He wasn't a police officer. He held a police commission to do security work at a nuclear facility. And his was terminated. You can't hold a police commission in Tennessee and a DUI. But
to the female. Headshot wound to female. 1078. Fuck.
I was on. I'm gonna go get my kit.
No, headshot, dude. She's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. God damn it.
God, fuck.
Dude, I'm not taking fucking boiling water to the fucking head. And look, it fucking came right to our feet, too. God damn it.
God damn it.
You good?
I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Holstered up. Let her.
He calls her a crazy bitch here in a minute.
There's nothing we can do, man.
In case this wasn't enough. He starts cordoning off the crime scene, and someone asks if he's good, and he's like, yeah, that bitch is crazy.
You good? All right. Fuck. Well, I mean, you know, what else do we do? I'm not taking hot boiling water to the fucking face, and it already reached us.
They got a 52 in route?
Yeah, 1078.
He also asked after all this has happened, he's fucking killed her and she's laying there and refusing to render any type of aid. Whether it's pointless or not, you still like to see somebody fucking try, especially if that's like a family member of yours. Then he calls and asks dispatch, oh, did she have a history of mental health calls? A little late now, huh? Unless you're building your report, so you think you're gonna get away with this.
They're 18, she's still breathing, but she's losing a lot of blood from the head.
It's almost like she needs aid rendered. She's still bleeding, but she's losing a lot of, she's still breathing, but she's losing a lot of blood from her head.
I'll go get my med kit. I mean, I mean, there's not much we can do.
Again, justifying just letting her fucking die. I'll go get it, I guess. Not much we can do, but I guess I'll go get it. He's in a pretty big hurry, as you can tell.
Do we got any call history with her being 1096?
Mental health calls. Right.
I will explain why. Negative.
That he responds, that would explain why. So clearly she has had mental health calls before. Well, so alive is a word here. The body was still breathed and produced blood. Was she still alive? That's kind of up for debate. Was she had died anyways? But it doesn't just render aid, right? Even if the ambulance gets there and says there's nothing you could have done, fine, but you rendered aid.
She's in the kitchen. Just Sergeant, who, no. Let's just chill out.
We're on the shooter's body cam.
Just search right now.
Are you guys secure?
Yeah, we're secure.
Back covered?
No, it's just her in the house. She's 1096. Is there anything you think we can do for her? No. All right. I'm not even going to waste my med stuff then. You want to run down real quick?
These are things that let's say, is there anything we can do for her? And someone says no, that has more medical training than you, right? The last thing you want to say on body camera that may be reviewed by your superiors, by an investigation, by a grand jury is, I'm not even going to waste my med kit on her. You mean the med kit that she fucking paid for with her tax money? That one? Yeah, I wouldn't waste it either. The things that this guy says, it's like he wanted to fucking be fired if someone ever reviewed this tape. Don't fucking worry about it. It's a headshot like I told her. Told her I was going to shoot her in the fucking face. You see me shoot her in the fucking face?
Nope, not yet.
All right. House is cleared. She was the only one.
Where's he going?
No, she had a boiling water and came out.
Did you hear that? This cop knows what's up. Where's the gun? She was going to kill you? You used deadly force? Where's the gun? Oh, no, shut up. She had a Pioneer woman fucking by kettle bowling.
Nope, not yet.
All right. House is cleared. She was the only one.
Where's he going?
No, she had a boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
She absolutely did not go after anybody. Absolutely did not go after anybody.
Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all this is. I was standing right here.
All right.
And that's where he's landed.
What do y'all need from us?
Just nothing right now.
That's where she landed, as if she was diving at you.
Just hang out there for me. Thank you.
I need crimes included around the post that house if you guys can.
Other than that, that's thank you.
Anything else suspect?
Me.
I didn't know what happened.
You got any questions?
Yeah, I'm good. This fucking bitch is crazy.
Things you never want a grand jury to hear on a body cam. Yeah, I'm good. This fucking bitch was crazy.
I didn't know what happened.
You got any questions?
Yeah, I'm good. This fucking bitch is crazy.
How fucking smug this motherfucker is.
He's got tape.
Yeah, they responded like it was going to be a fucking shootout.
I think I got to roll.
I got some coming up.
I love how his supervisor was like, "Where's the gun?" It was water. Like a water pistol? No, just like a pot. Water.
You got enough? If not, I got to roll.
This guy, absolutely. So imagine if they would have left after they told her yard was, there was nothing going on. Imagine they left or said, like, EMS en route, we're going to check her out. Imagine if they wouldn't have told her to go to the stove and turn off her fucking stove. Imagine if they would have just been like, you rebuke me in the name of Jesus Christ. That's weird. What do you mean? Imagine if, even if she had the pot of boiling water and she's like, I'm going to fucking throw this on you. If they would have just stepped to the door they were standing at and be like, put the water down or we can't talk to you. Anything. Anything.
On it. I just around the house. You guys can go inside.
Okay. Red bottom.
That's good.
Small dick, but wait till it get hard. She gonna be like, damn, shit, my God.
CBC is the best. Thank you very much. The 5 6-packs. That is buymeacopy.com/coldbeer if you want to make a contribution to the show. Thank you.
Let's cut to the garbage cans. Yep. Yeah. Where's he at? Inside with me. He's good. Alright. Yeah.
That's my fault, man. I didn't know.
No, dude, it was good. It fucking happened so goddamn quick that we didn't have time to fucking call shit out that it was me and.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Make sure we need to look for someone.
No, we're good. I think she set it up on purpose. So, it's what it is.
I think she set this all up on purpose. She set it up to call for a prowler and then knew that you would fucking shoot her in the goddamn face because she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
No, we're good. I think she set it up on purpose. So, it's what it is.
Don't go in.
I have a choice.
Try not to move that bag. We'll take her out on a backboard so we don't have to move that.
He said don't go in.
I have a choice.
Try not to move that bag. We'll take her out on a backboard so we don't have to move that.
So the cop tells him, he said not to go in. And he says, I don't have a fucking choice.
Yeah, he's good, dude. I made sure he was good. Yeah, he was here for the whole thing. No. We barely got missed.
Okay. We barely got missed. We barely got missed.
I'll holler at him later. We gotta grab the backboard. We're flying on this one.
Anyways, grand jury indicted him on murder 1.
I'm gonna chill in my car. I'm gonna chill in my car for a minute. Okay. I got it. Camera off. Camera's off.
Is your camera off? It is now. Is your camera off? Dude, that shit is wild. Wild. I think there's another video. Audio recordings reveal deputy involved in Sonya Massey killing was scolded by previous supervisor. Let's see if we can get this play, and we'll go back to finish the Trump video.
Of aggression and integrity. New details emerging from allegations of aggression and integrity issues involving Sean Grayson. He's the former Illinois sheriff's deputy charged in the murder of Sonya Massey. She called 911 earlier this month to report a suspected prowler at her Springfield home. Body camera video shows Grayson responding and later shooting Massey as she held a pot of boiling water.
Where's he going? No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water. You shot her? Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water.
Grayson has held 6 different jobs in law enforcement since 2020. And now ABC News has obtained records from his 11-month tenure at the Logan County Sheriff's Office, including recordings between Grayson and his supervisors discussing inaccuracies in his police reports.
We had this conversation. I told you in that meeting, review all your reports, make sure they're right.
One supervisor is heard reprimanding Grayson for misconduct.
The sheriff and I will...
That doesn't sound good. Reread all your reports and make sure they're right? What do you mean by right? Make sure they match?
One supervisor is heard reprimanding Grayson for misconduct.
The sheriff and I will not tolerate lying and deception. And I have told you that I have zero tolerance for stretching the law. Because when you have officers that stretch the law, they will get caught. They will get prosecuted. And they will handcuff the rest of law enforcement.
Records also show a woman filed a complaint.
Damn.
Claiming Grayson tried to watch as she was strip searched.
Illinois.
But according to the paperwork, Grayson left the Logan County Sheriff's Office last year in good standing. He was hired days later.
One woman says he tried to watch while she was being strip searched, but he left in good standing, of course.
By the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office, where he was working at the time of Massey's shooting. Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell says his department failed Massey.
She called for help and we failed. That's all she did. That's all she did, call for help.
Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
So, after that long, we had to go through all this to get the backstory. I know some of you hadn't seen the videos. That's what they're going to ask Trump about on this stage at the National Association for Black Journalists. They're going to say, you've called in the past for immunity, right? And what do you say in the face of that? Do you think he deserves immunity? Kind of deal.
Illinois, an unarmed black woman was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
And he does like a throwing motion with the water, right? So he's so vague. What didn't look good? Like the cop didn't look good. The woman didn't look good. The water didn't look good. The camera angle wasn't good. What didn't look good?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again,
Are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weekends ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. He doesn't even make a statement. Like, he could have said something like, oh, we got to do better. She shouldn't have died. I didn't like it. Didn't look good. Talking about the water? Didn't look good. Didn't like it. Didn't like it.
Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
you
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody, and it's a very close call, and it's very dangerous. And they have the policeman's life, and woman, is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I want to follow up really quickly. You know, I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case, and I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time, and he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent, and he can't stand trial, and yet...
That's not what they said. So they reviewed it all, and he said it would be very hard to get a conviction. It'd be very hard to get a conviction on Biden in his current state.
He can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it.
He did not win the case, right? The case was thrown out. It will be appealed, claiming that nobody but the president, and then confirmed by Congress, can appoint a special investigator. Even though since 1900, that's the way we've been doing it. The judge took a wink and a nod from the Supreme Court opinion and said, oh, I don't even think we can appoint special prosecutors, even though we've been doing it for 124 years.
On it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
sir,
I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse me, you're the one that held me up at 30.
The other case he's going to talk about, where they said you knew. So the case against him was that he knew he lost, and he still kept spreading this rhetoric, trying to tell people that it was stolen, it was rigged, they cheated, and he knew he lost. He had told people around him he lost. And he doesn't even make a claim that here's the evidence it was rigged, here's how I knew it was rigged, here's how I knew it was stolen. He just says I'm immune. That was the other case.
Any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it. The case. And it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
Slopadopoulos. So Papadopoulos is the guy's name, but he's calling him George Slopadopoulos.
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse me, you're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator JD Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they...
You're the one who held me up for 35 minutes because your whatever shitty mics you own don't work. Some people say they're the shittiest mics. I wouldn't even let this brand in my home.
Made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what...
The cat lady comment. He's not talking about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking people that don't have children and I guess own cats. Crazy cat ladies with no kids, childless cat ladies, and they want to make you miserable too. He's not talking about I love families. That's not what he said.
He says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family-oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families.
You're right. Stephanopoulos. Papalopoulos is a guy that I went to boot camp with. Stephanopoulos.
I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. I didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking.
He's talking about
that doesn't mean
have children before you pick.
I was wrong on the name. He's right. George Stephanopoulos. I went to boot camp with a guy named Papalopoulos. And you know, there's a guy I went to boot camp with that actually writes for a the Military Times now.
Him to be your running mate, and do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family-oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families, and I also know people with no families. I didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
People who don't have children should get less votes than people that do have families.
I think things happen. You go through life, you don't meet.
I think that, hold on, let me look this up. I think that guy that I went to boot camp with, Papalopoulos, his dad was like a general or some shit. Hold on. Major? His dad had some rank, I'm pretty sure. I remember now the drill sergeant could say his name. I don't know why that name was stuck in my head. I guess because Trump said it.
The right person.
He's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
I think I'm speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family. With great families. I know people with very troubled families, and I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
He's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
I think I'm
position?
speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family, and the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not.
People without families are far better, superior in many cases. Everybody knows it's not what he's saying, right? He's saying that people without children are miserable and they want to make you miserable too. And he took that shot specifically because there's women in politics that don't have children.
What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and
that seems like a wild way to say that, right? Seems like a wild way to say that. If I said that everybody who doesn't own an AR-15 is an F slur for homosexual, and then I'm like, well, what I really meant is I like guns, and sometimes people like guns, and sometimes they don't like guns. That's just a wild way to say that, right?
you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Trump hates this. Trump wants somebody who is bland, who is nobody, who has nothing that'll come to light, and he has to answer questions about it. Because a couple things here. Trump doesn't want anything bad said about him or his campaign. Trump wants all the attention on him. So he's getting it from both sides, right? He hates that the attention's not on him, that they're asking about somebody else, and he hates that he's getting this bad press. The leader of the Heritage Foundation stepped down after citing heavy influence from the Trump campaign after all that bad stuff came out. And then Trump released a statement that is like, the demise of the Heritage Foundation is amazing. What? You're licking their nuts a little bit ago.
Last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator JD Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I've ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many...
What the fuck does this have to do with crazy cat ladies making you miserable?
From mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have...
People who are only American citizens are allowed to vote, sir. He doesn't even stop. Then you take a breath.
They want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs, the people that have come into this
black jobs
country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. Yeah. So let's talk about JD Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose JD Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. Everybody out there can.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very...
All right, let me tell you about JD Vance's backstory. I watched the movie today, even though Mariah is fucking gung-ho over this Cash fucking son of a bitch. She's already watched the movie, got it saved to her favorites on the playlist. I think it said it had been watched 7 times. I don't know what her deal is. But me, I watched the movie. Basically, it's him. Here's the whole rundown. Here's a 2-minute rundown, okay? He and his mom, it doesn't say where his dad's at. He and his mom and grandparents and his aunt are originally from Ohio, Middletown, Ohio. And his grandparents grew up in Kentucky, but his grandma got pregnant at 13, fled off with her boyfriend who got her pregnant. They got married and they left. They went to Ohio and settled down. And that's where he lives. And it starts out the movie, they're back home visiting in Kentucky. He's kind of bullied. He tries to stand up for himself, but he's like this little fat, little bit autistic looking actor. And he gets beat up. But his family comes to save him. They're like, because family is thicker than water or whatever. So they save him. He has to go back home. He doesn't want to go home. He goes home. He starts living with his mom. His mom's having these weird, like, fits of rage, like unexplained fits of rage where she, like, flips out on him. Then she's like, I'm sorry, son, whatever. So he's trying to deal with, like, his mom and his sister. And his mom has these fits of rage. Like, it's Easter. They get a dog for Easter. The dog pisses in his mom's floor. And she's like, I told you, you little fucking bastard, it was going to piss in the floor. And everybody, like, looks at her weird. And she's like, I guess he just pees wherever he wants. He'll fit right in here. Like, she has these weird fits of rage. That later on becomes, those fits of rage become because she's abusing pain pills. Now, his mom's a nurse, and she's still in pain pills, and she's getting pain pills, and she has all these different guys in her life. Some of them he likes, some of them he doesn't. But anyways, it's flashing back and forth between him at home and him at Yale. And he's at Yale, and his aid package comes through, and he's going to be $21,000 short for his financial aid to attend his last school year at Yale. His girlfriend is taking a internship, a paid internship in D.C., and he wants to go to D.C. too. So while it's flashing back and forth, it's showing him, like, growing up with his mom. His grandparents are awesome, but they're, like, separated, live in two different houses. His grandma's kind of laid back and cool. His grandpa's kind of like his mom, fits of rage. He's, like, at this interview to get an internship, and he freaks out. He doesn't know how to use the fork, so he calls his girlfriend because she's fancy. He's not. He's just a hillbilly. She doesn't know how to use the forks. She tells him what forks to use and tells him drink is on the left, bread is on the right, or drink is on the right, bread is on the left. Use the forks from the outside in. He sits back down, and they ask him where he's from, and he said, Ohio, but originally from Kentucky. The guy that's at the law firm where he wants to intern with says something about rednecks. He's like, we don't use that word. Like, he flips out over the word redneck. We don't use that word. Like, he just dropped the N-word or something. We don't use that word. It's very strange. But then while he's at that dinner, and he gets a call that his mom overdosed on heroin. Like, she's moved from pain pills to heroin. We don't use that word. Anyways, she's moved to heroin. He's like, I can't deal with this. He goes back to the dinner. He thinks he blew the dinner. The next time he talks to his girlfriend, instead of coming home after the dinner to get this internship, he's like driving home. He doesn't want to involve his girlfriend, so he's driving back home to Middletown, Ohio. And she's like, I could come. And he's like, no, I don't want to involve you in this. No. I'll take care of you. You just stay there. When he gets to his mom, they don't want to let her stay in the hospital because she doesn't have insurance. She let it lapse. They're trying to kick her out. He gets the doctor to agree to let her stay till 3 p.m. And he's like, she worked here for 24 years. And the doctor's like, I can't help you. Sorry. So it's kind of about like the hillbilly epidemic kind of is mixed in there too. Anyways, so they take his mom to a rehab center. And he ends up paying like on 4 different credit cards. His credit card was declined when getting gas earlier. So there's like the financial overtone of a financial struggle. He pays with like 4 different credit cards, $1,500 for 1 week, $3,000 for 2 weeks for her to stay at this rehab. They barely got her in. Like, he had to beg to get her into this rehab because beds were full. We shouldn't have insurance. People were just hanging up on him. So he pays on like 4 different credit cards. His mom gets mad and says, I'm not a charity case, and storms out and gets in the car. So he's talking to his sister, and he's like, fuck her, I'm done. I got to take care of me, blah, blah, blah. And his sister's defending the mom. And he's like, she was worse to you than she was ever to me. I don't know why you defend this bitch. And the sister's like, it didn't start with us, with her. Her and Aunt Lori grew up in a war zone. And it does another flashback to even before when his mom was a little girl. And like the grandpa comes home drunk. And grandma's cussing him, and then she sets him on fire while he's sleeping on the couch. And the girls have to run out of the closet and put out the flames or whatever. Anyway, so he feels bad for his mom now. And he goes and talks to her in the car. They can't get her into the rehab. They can't find a house for her. So he takes her to a local hotel. And the whole time, he's trying to decide. He gets a call back from the internship, but he's got to be there at 10 a.m. in the morning. And he's 10 hours away. So that means he has to leave by midnight. The whole time, in this dialogue, he's trying to decide, do I stay here and take care of my mom who's addicted to heroin? He catches her shooting up in the bathroom, right? Catches her trying to shoot up in the bathroom. He squirts it in the sink, and they fight for a minute. Do I stay here with my mom who's addicted to heroin and struggling and needs help right now? Or do I drive to get that job and go to the interview, potentially get that job so I can spend the summer with my girlfriend in D.C. and pay for my last year of school, right? That's what happens. Or second year of law school, Yale Law School. And at the very end of it, he decides, his mom says, just stay with me. And he says, I can't. I'm not saving anybody right here. Lori, his sister, my sister will be here in just a minute. I hope you stay and wait for her. I hope you don't give up, but I've got to go do this, Mom. And he storms out and gets in the car and drives away. And they talk for like 10 hours on the phone with him and his girlfriend, telling stories about grandparents, blah, blah, blah. Flashbacks keep happening. And he drives away. And that's the end of the movie. It says that he graduated, he got the job, the internship, he graduated. His mom's been clean for 6 years. His sister still lives in Middletown, Middleville, with six kids or some shit, and that's it. That's the whole movie. You're welcome.
He's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people that were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at his career.
I think one of the weirdest things is like one of the flashbacks he has is like he's in the car with his mom and they went to like they go to like a card store and she steals cards. They get thrown out of the store for acting goofy. So he's mad at his mom about the dog thing, right? The mom like attacked him over the dog peeing in the floor. And she's like, how long are you going to be mad at me? And he's like, ooh. And she's like, you want to go to your favorite store? Because I'm going, and I guess I'll just be looking at all the cute men in their football pants, and you won't be there to buy any cards. I'm going anyways. He's like, okay, and he hops in. And dog's left at home alone. They go to the store, and they start talking, and they're going over. She's trying to buy his love with football cards, and he picks all these fucking Joe Montana football cards. She's like, he doesn't even play anymore. He's like, he's the best, though. He has like, whatever, 4 titles and blah, 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 something, sports balls. And she's like, yeah, he may be the greatest quarterback, but who has the best touchdown dance? And she does this like really cringy, like looking touchdown dance for somebody. I can't remember who the player is. She's like, it goes like that, right? And he's like, no, it's like this. And he tries the dance, and he's kind of chubby and autistic. So he knocks over a rack. And the guy behind the counter, totally out of character, just flips out. He's like, pick it up! Pick it up! Like freaking out. Like all that happened was a rack was knocked over. And he's like, I told you to pick it up! In like a second and a half, he screams, pick it up, like 4 times. So finally the mom's like, he is, chill. He's like, you know what? Just get the fuck out of here. Just get the fuck out. And I'm thinking, it's a football card store. How many customers do you get in a day? You're going to run the only 2 goddamn customers that come out in the last fucking 6 hours off? He's like, just get the fuck out of here. So she steals the football cards. So they're like running to the car giggling, and she's like, here, I got these for you. Get in, hurry, hurry, hurry. And they take off, okay? After they take off, they're driving down the road in her Jeep Cherokee, which is the exact same color and model of my Jeep Cherokee, just so you know. They're driving around the road in her Jeep Cherokee, and she's like, what do you think about Ken, or whoever her boyfriend is? Kent. What do you think about Kent? And he's like, I don't know. He's all right. And she's like, I really like him. I've been thinking about some things. He's like, oh, okay. And she's like, I've been thinking about all of us moving in together. And he's like, I don't know, Mom. I was talking to my friend Chris, and he said, that's just your flavor of the week. And she goes, what? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? And he's like, I don't know, Mom. You just had a lot of guys, and they seem to come and go. And she's like, you little fucking shit. You little piece of shit. I could just wreck this car and kill us. And she's like speeding up and up and up and up and up. And she's going faster and faster. And like the miles per hour were like pegged out. And she's like on this country road. She's swerving in and out of cars. And he's like, you're going to kill us. Oh, my God, stop. So he unbuckles and climbs in the back for some reason. Like, that's a safer position. So he climbs all the way in the back seat of the fucking Jeep Cherokee. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get back up here. Get back up here. Put your seatbelt on. But she's never even slowing down. so he won't get back up in the seat. So she slams on the brake and stops on the side of the road. Like, she just stops on the side of the road. And she's like ran cars off the road and shit, but nobody gives a fuck, right? Nobody checked on her. Nobody looked at her. They just keep going on about their life. So he's sitting in the back and she's like, you crying little bitch, you little fucking lord ass. And she's fucking hitting him. She's like, you fucking think your mom's a whore? And he's like, you're a stupid bitch. She's like, come here, lord ass. And she's like hitting him and shit. I'm not making any of this up. If you've seen the movie, I'm not making any of this up. She's like, come here, you little lord ass. And she's like hitting him and slapping him in the back of the seat. So he gets out the back door and he starts running up, which he's chubby. He starts running up this gravel driveway. And there's a lady outside watering her garden. And she's like, what's going on, honey? And he's like, my mom's trying to kill me. And she's like, go inside, quick, quick. And he like runs inside and like slams the door. And she's like, call 911. He doesn't call 911. He calls his grandma, right? He calls his grandma. And so then the woman comes, the mom comes running up the driveway and she's like, I have dogs and they bite. And he like zooms in the background, his 2 corgis. They just fucking chilling out. I have dogs, they bite. You're not getting this boy. You're not going to get, you were trying to kill him. You were trying to kill him. So the kid's inside. And then as the mom gets closer, the lady that was watering her flowers that told him to call 911 and he didn't because he's a dumbass. He called his grandma instead. Somehow he knows the address because he gives a grandma the address. 11454 Country Road 2, grandma, come get me. So the woman goes inside and she like slams the door and locks like a screen door. Like a screen door. She just locks the screen door and she says, you're not getting in here. Not with this kid. Not with me here. Mom comes up like Terminator and just punches through the screen door, unlocks it and says, I'm getting my fucking kid. Like punches through the door, screen door, unlocks it from the inside and just starts. And she tries to shove the door and she slings it off of her. She grabs him by the arm. She says, come on, you little fat shit. And she's dragging him down the stairs by one arm. Like he's just like, ta-dunk, ta-dunk. Ta-dunk. She's dragging him down the stairs, and the lady who's watering her flowers is like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. And then we zoom out, and I guess one of the cars she ran off the road called the cops. Because suddenly there's 2 cops there, and they're like, ma'am, drop the kid. And she's like, you don't understand. He's just being a little fucking fat-ass piece of shit. And they're like, drop the kid. And she drops the kid. They put her in handcuffs. They put him in the car. So then his dumbass grandma shows up, because he didn't dial 911. He dialed his grandma. His grandma shows up. And she's like, everybody's mean to this kid. She's like, what the fuck are you doing in the back of that police car like a criminal? Like he locked himself in there, right? Like he fucking put himself in the police car. He called for help, lady. What do you mean like a criminal? And the cop's like, we're just keeping him safe right here. So we'll let him out. And he says, I'll let him out as long as everybody stays calm. And the grandma's like, okay. And he let him out and she gives him a big hug. And they're like, sorry you had to go through this, son. Well, then they see he sees them putting his mom in a different police car. I should start doing professional movie reviews. Anyways, then he sees them like start putting his mom in a police car. And he's like, no, that's my mama. And the cop's like, son, your mama needs some help. I don't know if they knew she was strung out or something. They're getting her something out. But she's like, son, your mama needs some help. And you're the only one that can help us get her that help. Did she hit you? And there's like, clearly she hit him, right? There's like a 30-second pause. And he's like, no, I was just being stupid. So they're like, all right, take the cuffs off of her, Johnny. So the mom gets the cuffs off. And she comes walking by the kid. And you think she would give him a hug or something? No. She just walks right past her mom, the grandma, the grandpa, her sister, and the kid. Just walks right past them going to the Jeep, and it cuts off there. But later on, we get the feeling that the grandma has tried really hard with her daughter, which would be the mom. The grandma's tried really hard, but we never really see it. It cuts back to that later on, and she's standing there after the daughter walked by her son, who just kept her from going to jail and shit. Walked by her son, walked back by her mom, walked all the way back to her Jeep. We cut back to the grandma later on in the movie, like 30 minutes later. And she's like, I can't believe you're doing this. You got to fix this. And she's like, it's not my fault. It's that little lord ass over there starting trouble. Like, they're so mean to this fucking kid. That little lord ass over there starting trouble. And she's like, somebody's got to raise him, right? And she's like, oh, you, mama? You gonna raise him? And she's like, maybe I will. And that's the reason we cut back to it. That's the reason we cut back to it, was because she ends up taking custody of little lard ass. Anyways, back to the Trump thing.
It's been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the Law Journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction.
He was a Marine.
For 4 years.
It never even shows that at all, except he says that I was in the Marine Corps.
Got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in
I should just watch a movie a day and then do reviews on it.
business. Actually, I did public offerings and other things, and I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his.
It blew my mind that, like, he kept her from going to jail. She doesn't hug him. She doesn't look at him. She does nothing. Then we find out later when the grandma confronts the mom. She's like, that little lard ass over there. Like, they have no chill, dude.
And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family, but he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States.
I think there was one state this year where Trump endorsed all 3 candidates. All 3 candidates that are running against each other, he endorsed them all.
Senator. So he's a United States Senator. So Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason
that's what's fucked up. His mom started out on pain pills. He even blames the hospital and says she got hooked on pain pills here. That's where it all started. And it does show her later stealing pain pills from this nice black woman who's getting like, I don't know, a blood transfusion or some shit. He steals her pain pills. She's probably got cancer. The mom does. And find out later that he invested in part of the pill epidemic, like in companies that were fucking handing out pain pills.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next. And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know, it is really hard for me
to understand. I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
Oh my God. I can understand you perfectly. Whoa. Like he doesn't want to hear what she has to say.
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know, it is really hard for me to understand.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you. But I can't understand, Harris,
I have a few more questions.
because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yep.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at JD Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one.
So he sidetracks this whole question. I don't know if it's because of the audio or what. They're asking, is JD Vance ready to be ready on day one in case something happened to you? If you died on Inauguration Day, is JD Vance ready to be president?
One, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be, and then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons than what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been.
I think he's outstanding in every way, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just like you had a close call or whatever, right? You could die on inauguration, especially being fucking almost 80 years old. It does matter if he's ready to take office. That's something that people should have confidence in. That, like, if something happens, the vice president could take over, and there would be a decent, smooth transition, and not a lot of shit would get dropped or whatever. It doesn't take him 6 months to get up to speed.
But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my JD Vance question in.
JD Vance?
I'm going to get my JD Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think? Well, I mean, my point
at
is
least
here.
It was said in a friendly manner.
My point is. Do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what JD Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born based on
Sir, that's
governor of
illegal in
Virginia.
every state in the
Based on the
That's illegal in every state, right? One radical person says something, when asked a hypothetical question or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, they kill babies after they're on been delivered."
Governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right, and I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas.
Oh, wait, I was just looking for my friend from boot camp or his dad. There is a George Papadopoulos, too. Author and former member of Foreign Policy Advisory Panel to Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. And George Stephanopoulos. I swear, I think, because they called him Papa because none of the drill sergeants could say his name.
It's the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on, and they're voting. And many states have already voted.
I absolutely do not support Trump. After what happened with the election, I originally supported Trump. And I think my eyes were opened. I absolutely do not, never will, ever support anything to do with Trump again. After he came out with his rhetoric about the election stolen, and at first, honestly, I repeated some of it. And then I started looking into every fucking thing they said about the election being stolen, and every bit of it was a fucking lie. And they just kept repeating it and kept repeating it and kept repeating it. And the shit on January 6th, there's no way, shape, or form I could ever condone anything that happened on J6. It was fucking horrible. And the people that want to placate, like the people that want to ask.
Merbird gifted Fox a subscription. Merbird gifted a tier 1 sub to
Thank you for the gifted sub. The people that ask, like,
subs in the channel.
Would you condemn Jan 6 on the Republican side? Would you condemn January 6? And they're like, well, a lot of things happened on. Like, no, just say you fuck you. That pisses me off. I like to say before that I was kind of in the middle, even though that I supported Trump over Hillary for sure. I was favorable over Trump over Biden, but I don't think I can support any of the stuff he's done before. And the more I look into the Republican Party's fucking strategies, their fucking the statements they make, the claims they make, the things they fucking say, the more it just fucking pisses me off. It doesn't seem like anything's genuine with it. I don't know. It bothers me a lot. I wish I wouldn't have supported Trump to begin with, but I already did.
And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside.
I don't even think that the more I look into it and the longer that I've been I like to heavily research shit. The more I look into studies and research and their talking points and their platforms, nothing from the Republican Party in the last goddamn 10 years represents me. I don't even know why I supported it in the first place. I guess the way I was raised and how I was brought up and the people I hung out with and the stuff that I did, but I'm not good with any of it anymore.
And then we decide what to do, meaning what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position.
We execute the baby.
Who said we set the baby month? Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do, meaning what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position.
But who's enforcing that law? Where is that law being suggested? Where has it been submitted? Where's it been voted? Like, where is it?
And some people.
Oh yeah, I'm still registered Republican. I don't know. The fact that he knew that he lost, and he they stole fucking election data. He brought a team. He had teams of people telling him, "You lost. This is over." And he brought in new people. It's like, "Fuck you guys. I'll go with these people." What about Dominion? What about the Italian satellite that flipped votes? And it was despicable the way that he treated his followers. I love you, go home, kind of deal, when they were fucking beating the shit out of cops and some of them dying at the Capitol. That was fucking horrible. It took them 3 hours to get him to come out and say something. A lot of people hated the Jan 6 panel, right? The J6 committee, because they're like, more J6, who cares? They think it's... J6 was fucking horrible. I watched all of it that I could fucking find on the internet and the shit about it and the subcommittee and their report. It was fucking horrible. I don't know how anybody condones that. Talks about it as if it didn't happen. Says Antifa set it up. It's horrible. And I'm afraid Trump losing is going to spark the same shit. He's already said, like, vote for me, you'll never have to vote again. Or, will you support the results of the election? Well, if it's fair, like...
I want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people...
Would you consider...
Most people... I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout...
Some of our greatest leaders are in their 90s.
The world history.
Where?
The greatest leaders. Some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you...
Oh, absolutely.
And who would...
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me...
Oh, my goodness.
And
the rumor is the person you hear say, "Oh, my goodness," is somebody from his campaign. Is that what the Midas Touch says? That's one of his, like, campaign media coordinators or something?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me...
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he's the Fox reporter in red. Maybe they just said that it was one of the people who supported him because she gave him a pretty favorable interview. Okay. Harris Faulkner. I was watching the Midas Touch clip of this, but I was also typing out something.
Absolutely.
And who would...
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me...
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty... That wasn't...
So now he's arguing with the audience. He just said, "Sir," right? He just said, "Sir." He's arguing with people in the audience. She was very rude, sir.
Is this woman...
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she...
No, she did not, said the audience.
She was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty... That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually. You said you would. You would
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I thought that I was failing in some way... I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them, and I aced them.
Well,
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean,
there is. So it's
85.
Well,
I took 2 of them, but let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something
he's talking
passed.
about a cognitive test, I guess. Everybody running for president has to do. It's not constitutional. I mean, it would have to be added, but
well, you can do
unless they do it of their own free will and share it.
I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
And make it public. Because the last one we heard, there was a man with an elephant, and then they take you to a tiger's paw, and then they ask what color the man's hat was. Yes, all he says is words, and it's a lot of words. They asked him, how can you make a difference in people's wallets when they're struggling to pay their rent, to buy food, make the car payment, insurance? Drill, baby, drill.
Again,
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President...
Are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear...
I'm just giving you the facts.
To be clear, you don't think Harris...
How do you intend...
She didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it, and I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over...
She was a prosecutor. She did pass it, absolutely. She passed it on her second attempt, I think. She had to take it twice. I don't think that's that uncommon, is it?
She didn't, in fact, pass it. Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order.
Yeah.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye. One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke.
He also said nobody died on January 6th. Nobody died.
Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers...
So it's by state. I guess she took the bar in California. So here is the bar exam pass rate. Alabama, 50%. Alaska, 53%. Arizona, 49%. Arkansas, 63%. California, only 44%. 44% pass rate in California. Colorado, 69%. Connecticut, 64%. Delaware, 68%. District of Columbia, 64%. Florida, 55%. Georgia, 58%. Hawaii, 67%. Idaho, 74%. Illinois, 68%. Indiana, 61%. Iowa, 78%. Kansas, 75%. Kentucky, 60%. Louisiana, 68%. Maine, 63%. Maryland, 55%. Massachusetts, 63%. Michigan, 63%. Minnesota, 68%. Mississippi, 52%. Missouri, 79%. That's pretty high. Montana, 76%. Nebraska, 74%. Nevada, 58%. New Hampshire, 68%. New Jersey, 57%. New Mexico, 76%. New York, 61%. North Carolina, 52%. North Dakota, 53%. Ohio, 64%. Oklahoma, 81%. That's probably the highest so far. Oregon, 75%. Pennsylvania, 67%. Rhode Island, 57%. South Carolina, 65%. South Dakota, 58%. Tennessee is at 60%. Texas, 64%. Utah, 76%. Vermont, 58%. Virginia, 66%. Washington, 67%. West Virginia, 64%. Wisconsin, 68%. And Wyoming, 63%. So somewhere around 50 or 60s is probably the average. of people who pass it the first time. California has the lowest passage rate at 44.2 by a wide margin. I don't know if that means their test is harder or more people take it that are unqualified, maybe. 15 states have passage rates below 60. It tells you, it says this starts to give you an idea why the bar exam is one of the most feared professional tests or exams.
Including those I just mentioned, Patriot.
Oh, shit. Not every state records first-time test takers. But it says first-time takers bar exam pass rate. California is actually higher if you just do first. So there must be people taking it multiple times and failing multiple times. Because California for first-time pass is 58%.
Who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day.
Like
about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially on the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never.
They're going to be able to remove the spray paint.
You'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen?
I'm a builder, I know.
What's going to happen?
Do you think Trump knows anything at all, anything about building materials? Like, he financed the building of stuff. Like, he wasn't out, he's out there carving fucking limestone.
Happened to the people in Portland that destroyed
But sir, my
that
question
city?
is on those.
What's going to happen to
my
the
question
people
is
that
on
tried
those
to burn
rioters
down?
who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were.
Absolutely, I'd pardon them. They were convicted.
Happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent,
If they're innocent, they're convicted, sir. If they're innocent, they're convicted. So they're not innocent.
I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system. They were. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis? How come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle? How come nothing happened to them? How come the people?
You know, he never talks about they faced a very tough system when it's like a minority that's being tried, or when we talk about minority rates that commit crimes, or when we talk about people trying to come here legally or illegally. He never talks about those systems being tough. The tough system is the one that attacks him and his followers. That's the tough system.
Sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well, they
you would pardon those.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah. Have you seen the video?
Pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting.
They shot a lady in the face that had broken a fucking window and was entering into where Congress people and the vice president were actually at. That was the only thing that was going to stop them. Was the threat of death, right? They could see people there. They could see people pointing guns at them. They wouldn't fucking stop. She wasn't peacefully protesting.
They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know people died in Minneapolis. And nothing
Nobody died.
Happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in. What about that? Look, no one.
That was very late after, well, you guys know this. I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but that was very late after the Capitol had already been breached. You see this in protests all the time, where a protest or a march will be going on, and we watched this in the Summer of Love when we were doing protests. Remember when they put them on that forced march and they just ended up taking them to fucking, ended up taking them to like a park, and the girl we were watching was like out of breath because they had to walk like 4 blocks or whatever. She's like, this is inhumane. They're making us walk. Like, they lead people to where they could do the least damage. So lead them up here. They led a bunch of them up there to get arrested. Like that one black cop leads them all up into a room, and then the officers come out of everywhere and round them up.
Nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying, they were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases. And
it's almost like he thinks they went back in time and falsified his documents for him.
We're going to be vindicated, but I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border, and I do two things.
We can all say there's a difference between a protest in the city streets, right, or outside of a building or whatever, and there's a difference between a protest entering a building. We've seen protest sit-ins, right, where you enter a publicly open building and you go in and sit in, or even if it's not publicly open, as you enter a peaceful and sit down, right, or stand or shout, right? Those things have happened. And they don't call, maybe they call for arrests, especially like areas you went to, they don't call for fucking violence. And what happened on January 6th, where they were literally attacking the cops. Like some of the tunnel videos, they were trying to kill each other. And the cops, because they wanted to stop the fucking certification.
I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down.
There was a woman named Roseanne Boyland or something. They think she was crushed to death.
So people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it.
But I think they ended up she overdosed on meth, didn't she? They thought originally she was crushed to death, and the coroner said she overdosed on amphetamines.
Because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%.
How you going to lower those? Drill, baby, drill.
Right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy.
What did Trump said? What is Donald Trump said that Elon Musk called him and said he wanted to donate $45 million a month and he didn't want anything in return. But Musk almost immediately refuted that. He went on Jordan Peterson podcast and almost immediately refuted that and said that that he is donating, but at a much, much lower level. I don't even know why he said that. $45 million a month?
But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want
and then because it's Elon Musk, right, and he's a very thinly veiled super Trump supporter, Elon Musk says to Jordan Peterson, who's also a fucking lunatic, Elon Musk says, it's not what's been reported in the media. The media is not reporting this accurately. Trump's the one who fucking said it, you retard. No one came to you and no one just made up a story that said Elon Musk is getting $45 million a month to Trump. Trump said it, and then the media repeated it. So saying that what's been reported in the media is simply not true, say what Trump said is simply not true.
hybrid, or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking...
I would love for somebody to you can't give him time to, like, somebody to coach him on it. I would love for someone to sit down and interview Trump and say, what do you think an average car payment is to an American? How much do you think an average American spends on a bottle of Coke? Like, just average, everyday expense. I guarantee you he'd be like, $300, I don't know.
Taking your job.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last.
So the Trump team cut it short here.
They're taking your jobs. These people coming in, I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs.
Oh, yeah. Elon Musk. So there was a new account that the right's saying cringy and weird, but it was called White Dudes for Trump, or White Dudes for Harris. And it was like, I understand their goal is to, like, reach, like, white males, because a lot of white males obviously go with Trump, right? And they're trying to reach those people and say, this is why we have to save democracy. This is why we should vote for Harris, whatever. They did a live stream on Twitter and raised $4 million for the Harris campaign during their live stream. Oh, a little over $4 million. As soon as the live stream was over and they announced how much they raised, they were banned for ban evasion. They were banned for ban evasion.
And I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So
that is per the Trump team. They cut him off. She got something in her headset saying that he had to leave.
Last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you.
They've been telling us he has to leave. They were trying ever since he made that statement and she said, "Oh my God," or whatever. Like they've been trying to get him off the stage.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great honor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Bad. Let's see. There's one more video I want to show you of Trump. See if we can find it in my history. I already watched it. This is a little sad here. She was
Part
speechless.
2 of Donald Trump's Gong Show interview with Fox News propagandist Laura Ingraham aired. And when he was asked about Melania Trump's feelings about the assassination attempt that Trump survived, the answer tells us so much. You almost start to feel bad for the guy. You almost do. Listen to this.
What was Melania's reaction, if you don't mind my asking? I know this is very personal, when she learned about what happened on that field in Butler?
She was watching.
Oh, she was watching in real time?
She was watching live. It was all over the place. It was.
First of all, does anyone believe that Melania Trump watches Trump's rallies? Does anyone seriously believe that? They just renegotiated their relationship, the financial elements of their relationship, and she's nowhere on the campaign trail, seem to be under protest at the RNC.
I'm going to start a new segment called Movie Review Speed Run, where I do TikTok videos, 5 minutes or less, full movie review. Or maybe, I think the longest you can do a video is 10 minutes, but try to keep them under 5 minutes, full movie reviews.
And we're supposed to believe she just sits at home watching these Castro-like multi-hour rallies. So it's already a lot.
There's no way. Like, you know how sick we are of Trump rallies. Even Trump's own supporters are like, he says the same thing. I don't want to watch the rallies. There's no way that Melania is sitting at home watching every fucking rally. It's impossible.
But now we get to the critical part.
On television, so on your network, but it was all over the place. And she was watching. I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And When the world started to, like, you could talk to people,
So he says, I asked her that. I was on the ground. They're not asking if you asked her why you were on the ground. Then he says, so when the world started back and you could talk to people, does he think that his attempt shut down the world?
I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And when the world started to, like, you could talk to people, I said, so what was your feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
She likes me. She likes me or she loves me.
She loves me.
That's good.
I mean, let's say she could talk about it freely. That wouldn't be. I'm not so sure which is better. But she either likes or loves me, and that's nice. But
yeah, it's breaking news. Melania Trump may like Trump. She really likes me, or she might love him. But the real reason that Melania Trump doesn't talk to Trump about the assassination attempt is they don't talk. They don't talk to each other. By all reports, leading completely separate lives that you would think evangelical Christians would say, that's not the way you're supposed to live. We're not voting for the guy. Of course, that's a principle that they only care about sometime. And when it's inconvenient, they no longer care about that.
Like the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Some people say he's not real. I say, have you seen The Silence of the Lambs?
We then get to Donald Trump talking about Kamala Harris. And Trump is 20 years older than Kamala Harris. And he starts alluding to, she's kind of old. Like, she's not really that young. She's older than I thought she was. If you're almost 80 and have a fraction of the energy as the woman you're running against, who's roughly 20 years your junior, I don't know that you want to call attention to age, but that's what Trump does.
Years old. A lot of people. I didn't realize she was 60. I thought she was a little younger, but she's 60.
I don't think she looks 60. Like, when I think, imagine a 60-year-old, I don't think she looks 60. And maybe it's some makeup and plastic surgery. I don't know what she's had or hasn't had done, or CGI or filters. I don't know, but I just don't think she looks 60.
Captain Smart has just resubscribed for 16 months.
Thank you very much for the resubscription. If you told me like 40s, maybe even like almost 50, I would say that.
She is talking a big game, but her game is pretty bad. I mean, she was the border czar. She's trying to
And I think that's the point. When people bring up age, I think the point is most people don't know she's 60, and that's hers to bring up. That's his point to bring it up.
Pretended she wasn't. You know, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah. So, he was surprised that he's running against a 60-year-old. He thought that Kamala Harris was younger. Laura Ingraham gives Trump the opportunity to sort of clean up JD Vance's mess about childless cat ladies and women with no children. And Trump doesn't really seem to clean it up.
There are women out there watching who may not have kids.
I think they understand it. No, I think they understand it. The Democrats are good at spinning things differently from what they were. All he said is he does like, I mean, for him, he likes family. I think a lot of people.
Well, I guess almost 60. What is she, 50-something? 59.
Like family, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And
59 till October. In October, she'll be 60.
You know why? You don't meet the right person, or you don't meet any person, but you're just as good. In many cases, a lot better than a person that's in a family situation.
There you go. So clearly bringing back all of the women disgusted with what JD Vance.
He does like it.
May not have kids.
I think they understand it. No, I think they understand
families,
it.
guys.
The Democrats are good at spinning things differently from what they were. All he said is he does like, I mean, for him, he likes family. I think a lot of people like family, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And you know why? You don't meet the right person, or you don't meet any person, but you're just as good. In many cases, a lot better than a person that's in a family situation.
There you go. So
Even
clearly
better
bringing
sometimes.
back all of the
Even
women
better.
disgusted with what JD Vance said. And then lastly, Trump employing the I know you are, but what am I approach, saying, you know who's weird? Kamala Harris is weird. A week after the Harris campaign has been saying, this dude's weird. This movement's weird. Trump going, I've got nothing better than to just say she's the weird one.
I had a nice 7-iron right next to the pin. Biden wouldn't do that. He couldn't hit the ball.
Biden wouldn't do it. Who gives a fuck, dude? The amount of times I've heard him refer to his golf game in this campaign. Even if I did still support him, I don't think I could vote for him. What the fuck, dude?
Well, 15 yards.
I mean, what is this? Just plain weird?
Listen,
American families?
The whole thing is a con job. Just plain weird. You know who's plain weird? She's plain weird. She's a weird person. Look at her past. Look at what she does. And look at what she used to say about herself, and I won't get into it. What she used
she was Indian, then she turned black.
To say and who she was compared to what she said starting at about 2016.
Is that making sense to anybody?
Yeah, I think when people try to sell golf to you, they're like, hey, you know, you could be 60 and still play with your adult children and your grandchildren, right? Like, it's a game that maybe you're not driving the ball the farthest, but you can get out there and play.
But no, it's now Kamala Harris who's the weird one. So we finally get to the conclusion of this 2-night event, a Fox News propagandist Laura Ingram's interview with Donald Trump, and we learned that Trump can't really
remember when it came out that the media was making him extra orange?
Explain to us what Melania thinks about the assassination attempt because they don't speak. Trump can't really explain to us, based on part 1 from the previous night, what makes JD Vance a good VP running mate. He can't really explain why those women and anyone who knows a woman, quite frankly, discussed.
He was basically a pin cushion for a while.
By JD Vance's comment about childless women, why they should vote for Trump. He can't explain any of it. A softball interview meant to help him.
I can't wait till Trump. I hope there's a soundbite of Trump describing the assassination attempt. He's like, he had me in his sights, right in his sights, and then he pegged me. It was pegged. A lot of people say I was pegged right in the ear hole. I can't wait for that soundbite. You know it's coming.
Him, which probably did more damage than it helped. Make sure you were subscribed to the YouTube channel. We're trying to do this thing, 2.5 million subscribers. Hit the subscribe button.
Pac-Man, everybody.
It's free. It's a beautiful thing. I just saw that last month we had 4 million different views.
By the way, you want to talk about weird people? You know how weird Mormons can be? I saw a video today. Maybe we'll watch it sometime on the stream. Maybe we do a Patreon thing. I saw a video today about how many social media influencers, including YouTubers, are Mormons. There's a lot of them. Like, a lot of them. Like, more than you would think, like, oh, they're all Mormons. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us. That's 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's it for today. I do want to start coming on earlier. I tried to today. I think we got out by like 9:30 or something. But I'd like to get it back up to 8 o'clock now that the boss is back in town. So be looking for shows coming back on earlier, some Patreon stuff afterwards, and we'll do it again. If you want to contribute to the show, if you like what's going on here, if I didn't run you off because you love Trump so much. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to me bitch for a while. Support the show at coldbeer.fund, buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you for joining us, and love you. See you. Bye. Have a good night, guys. It's a fun show. Trump failed.
This about if this douchebag happens to
alcohol kills your brain cells. I'll keep all my brain cells. Thank you.
To call out the people.
I don't even know what that's in reference to, but awesome.
Tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fucking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believers?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, and to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut.
Wiffle-Wats. You know Scott Wadgels?
That thirst.
Wiffle-Wat.
Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing.
My head shoot. Look at that. God damn. I'll stay over here.
Superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place.
I love that the show's named Cold Beer Confessional, so people are like, you drunk piece of shit. No one knows that I haven't drank in like 4 years.
I think I started some shit. Piss them off,
You missed your window by a little bit.
you better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, this is gonna be it.
Whoa, wait. Stop.
What?
I'll get my files. What are you doing? Stop.
Hold on,
Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders. They ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They be working copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Ass on slow and bullshit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches with all their secret.
Good night, guys.
Teaching all you fucking cretins about baby eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting.